This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. How the hell are you? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode 171. And we're going backwards. So if you noticed, last week was 172. A week before that was 170. And what happened is, again, I am a dumbass at times with this recording stuff. And I wasn't paying attention to my battery life and my plugged in. And I had Dosher on the show, and we talked for a really long time and had an amazing conversation. And all of a sudden, my recorder cut off. And he was going to be 171. And he is coming back on. We're going to re-record, re-chat, bring up new stuff and what have you. So stay tuned for that. But today, 171 is with the Goblin King, Chris Dickey. He actually reached out to me a couple weeks ago and wanted to come on to discuss some topics that was on his heart that he really felt he needed to talk to you about and the community in general. And it happened to fall along the same lines of a topic I've been wanting to talk about, which I'm going to do a whole episode coming up here about the whole crawl before you walk concept. And you can probably tell by my voice, him and I just wrapped up our hour chat, and I had a long-ass day at work in the hot shop, cranking out ornaments all day. It was like 106-degree heat index. So, needless to say, I'm fucking exhausted. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but we did cover a long range of just all over the place in conversation, but really the focus of this, which is why this is called Keep Your Day Job, is the industry is in a weird flux right now with the dollars being made, the amount of money being brought into this industry is huge. But a lot of this we talked, we'll get. I'm not going to talk about too much, but what we talk about is really how things began. In our opinion, at least, there's other opinions out there, but really from what I've seen, my exposure, personally my exposure to the spice scene and what had gone through years ago and the millions and millions and millions of dollars that were made from people that were creating and manufacturing and selling this poison that was out there. But it allowed shop owners to recoup a shit ton of money and then dump that money into our glass scene, which has really got a kick going. And now with legalization of cannabis of other states and stuff, it's really made it even more so. But there's this weird dynamic going on right now in this industry with some people are making a shit ton of money and a lot of people are struggling. And I don't know if it's a saturation, if it's a romanticism kind of concept of just, people out there that are promoting themselves and making money that are established, and those that aren't established just beginning want to become established overnight, which is why I continue to talk about the whole one day. And actually I have another year and a half here, but I'm going to be a 20-year overnight success. And I knew that from when I started this. It was going to take me at least 10 years just to get my foot in the fucking door, to understand my medium, get myself established, and then another 10 years to make a name for myself. Now I've got another 10 years after that to ride the wave that I've created myself. Not that the industry has created, but that I've done through hard work and dedication and cuts and burns. And it takes that fucking long. There are overnight successes, don't get me wrong. There are people out there that get some luck behind them. Everybody has a little bit of luck, but it's also about how much hard work you put into it and dedication and focus and what your game plans are and struggles and overcoming adversities and all that stuff. And Chris and I talk about a lot of that kind of stuff, but really our whole point of this is that we just give a shit about our industry. We love everybody in this industry, whether you're a dickhead or not, and we want to see everybody succeed. And this conversation is a lot about that, about our willingness to just talk about this stuff because we feel these topics need to be talked about and not be the 500-pound elephant in the room. So I think I'm losing my voice. And that being said, I'm going to get the fuck out of here before I do. So thanks for tuning in. Again, this is 171. We're going back in time a little bit. And next week we'll be back on track with 173. But until then, enjoy this conversation with Chris Dickey, a.k.a. the Goblin King. You can find him on Instagram at xxgoblinking. XX. Easy squeezy, and I'll have him in the show notes. So until next time, love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. And we will talk to you on the next episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Peace.
Man's inhumanity to man, all those things cause complication in creation. See, the domination of one nation to another nation, all those things cause complication. See.
What's up, Chris? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Pretty good, man. Just in my new digs. It might be a little echoey in here, and I was just talking to you pre-show. I'm holding my mic for the first time, so hopefully the sound quality is okay for everybody listening. And we're going to touch on some heavy topics. You hit me up a couple weeks ago, getting some shit off your chest, and definitely you asked to come on the show to talk about this topic conversation. And as we were talking pre-show, I started to kind of go on my little rant, and I stopped myself because there's some content that we're going to cover that I've been wanting to cover anyways, that I always discuss about why you should never ever think about running before you learn how to crawl, the kind of concept. And I was going to do a whole episode on crawling before you walk, which I was going to title it, but I think this conversation we're going to have is going to give me an opportunity as well to cover this topic of conversation. This might take us a half an hour. It might take us 3 fucking hours, dude. I don't know, but we'll see where this thing goes,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so welcome, dude. It's been a while, man. Good to have you on.
Oh, dude, I always love being on Wise Guy.
Yeah, bro. And you, last time you came on, you gave your little, talkie about, if you want to be a glassblower, this is the reality of what's going on. And right now, in the state of affairs between the politics in this country, and as cannabis becomes legalized, and all over the damn place, except for my place where I live, except for medically, but whatever. But, we're having to all pivot and adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust. And there's some people that aren't adjusting, and they're finding that they're not able to survive, in a sense, even feed their families. So they're having to go get jobs. And it's part of what we want to talk about, this whole thing. So let me give you the fucking platform, dude. And it's all yours.
Yeah. Well, dude, whenever I got into this scene, it was all rose-colored glasses type shit. I had this idea of what being a glassblower was, and what the glassblower scene was, and I had this romanticized, I'll just make 20 spoons a day type shit, like this will be easy, no problems. And I found out real quick, like that's not the way it is, right? Mm-hmm. And what's happening now, which is what I was wanting to discuss with you, is people are having to either adapt and cope and learn how to be a survivalist in this rather unregulated, completely ever-changing scene that we live in. What's hot today won't be hot tomorrow because somebody's already thought of something different. There's no regulations. You know what I mean? People can charge whatever they want. It's worth what people will pay for.
Yep.
So our scene, our market, our job, and the way we get paid is rather unregulated, right? So it keeps us on this steady edge of like, well, what happens tomorrow? When's that wave going to crash? When's the edge going to break? And people are having a hard time, and you see it all the time, dude. Regularly, cats that I respect, cats that have been blowing glass way longer than me, cats that are more talented than me, are saying, you know what? Fuck this. I just watched a dude who won the DFO one year. You know what I mean? He's calling out. He's like, fuck this, I can't fucking do it. And I don't know his personal choices or reasons or whatever. I'm sure they're legit. I just, even people that are super talented and super skilled, and I mean, just some of the best in our fucking scene, bro, even they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
So I had a couple thoughts on it. And the way to be a survivalist, how to survive this culling, because that's really what you're looking at. You're looking at the second wave of an unregulated market taking the toll, right? So, like, what happened was back in, like, 2009, 2010, this fucking spice shit came out, right? And this spice shit, whether, take it or leave it, good or bad, blah, 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 what it did at the base of it for our industry is it flooded our scene with more money than it's ever seen, bro.
Yep.
Like, shop owners were millionaires now. You know what I mean? There are people who were literally, I knew a dude who was basically he was a homeless look, you know what I mean? Traveled from show to show. This dude starts making this spice, and now he's a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So,
I used to work for a company. I mean, I'm not going to say their name and shit, but they made like $32 million in 2.5 years. I mean, literally, they told me that, dude.
It was not a joke. Dude.
Yeah, no, fuck no.
So all of a sudden, all these glass blowers in our scene, some of them super heady, some of them just simple, basic proto, some of them that don't even really give a fuck about glass. They just work for a company and make their quota type. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everybody was reaping the benefits of all this extra loot, dude. And for 3-4 years, that loot fed and built and grew our industry, both good and bad. You know what I'm saying? Because of that influx of money and because of that, like, kind of devil may care type of attitude when you have that kind of money, it allowed all these heady artists that we look at today. Of course, I'm not naming names, but there were artists that went from making, $1,000 a piece to making $40, $50, $60,000 a piece. Why? Because the shops had the money. They could. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, a couple of years back, that shit stopped. Now it's illegal, right? So all these artists, and in between that time, this movie came out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This movie that I love and I don't love, because what it did was it put the glass blowers on the same pedestal of like a rock star, right? So all these kids get on Netflix, they watch degenerate art, and they're like, you know what? I'll be a fucking glass blower. I can do this 20 pipes a day, right? So what ends up happening is now we have way more glass blowers than ever before for our pipe industry. And I mean like 600 times.
Yeah,
many,
literally.
You know what
I know what you mean. Yeah, totally.
And if spice was still around, or if weed was fucking legal, it might not be an issue. Like, the shops would have the money on cats who were trying to learn, or cats who were making brand new, crazy, heady, and building a name for themselves in that market. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But that's not the case, right? All these cats who were used to all this money, or all these cats who were using that money as like a fallback, well, that shit stopped, dude. And all of a sudden, if you haven't already developed a name, if you haven't already created a market, created a demand, created the desire, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some great artists out there who they hit it fucking hard, and they did it right, and as far as I'm concerned, their work will always be desired. They're constantly pushing, they're constantly growing. But that's a small fucking group of us, dude. The majority of us are all proto makers. Mm-hmm. We're all the daily grinders. We're all the push ourselves and maybe it don't look perfect guys, And for those dudes like myself, it's fucking hard right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And you either buckle down and do your fucking proto, or you jump the fuck off the torch, because you're not gonna fucking make it. You're just not. There's no way. There's not the money there to support the market, and that's the bottom fucking line. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just not. It will level out. It's going to even out. But this is that second wave that everybody's been talking about. I remember in 2012, 2013, Germ was spitting knowledge about when that levee breaks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's the next step? What's the next move? What's the next plan? Because that wave that we're riding is going to crash. Yeah. And that's what we're dealing with now.
Well, it's interesting you bring up Germ, because I think right now with what he's doing with his 1,000 cranes, and if you haven't listened, if for those listening now, if you haven't listened to his episode, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but him and I interviewed before he started that project. And my biggest question for him was like, how are you going to every day keep this going, because it's the same repetitive shit. But it's what he's used to doing. Our generation of glassblowers grew up having to do production, having to do that thing. And
Right.
but for him, it's become a way of life in a sense. He still is a badass at what he does, but he understands right now he's pushing the limits of himself, in a sense. But it's because he established himself in the production line, Guru's line, blah blah blah. And I mean, I'm trying to think about where to start with this because like there's certain established artists in our industry, like you're saying, that have a great business sense, like your Salts and your Micros and your Joe Peters.
Your banjos.
Right, your banjos.
Your Scott Deppies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
These
like the
cats
established.
aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, and they're like
Darby isn't going anywhere.
Exactly, and it's because they've understood that their whatever the name, their brand that used to be their AKA back in the day is now their brand.
Right.
They understood to take that.
Right.
It's funny seeing all these Instagram things where everything is glass. It's the so-and-so glass. Salt doesn't have to put salt glass. Salt can just put salt.
Salt doesn't need to put anything. You can see a salt from a mile away.
Yeah, totally. But I'm just saying, like in the presence of social media, But those kind of cats that had the mentality and the thought and the ideas, what they had then, understanding business and the way to push themselves.
Well,
and,
it's more than just like a good business sense, dude. These guys are the guys that built the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Totally, absolutely. That's where I was going with it.
They've been there from the beginning, so they've had the time to really like plant roots, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you started after 2010, like me, okay? I started after 2010. It's you don't even have roots, dude. So like right now, the wave is about to crash on you, and you don't have anything to hold you into the ground. And that's what I mean by like, dude, you better hold on because it's about to get harder. It's about to get worse. Now is not the time to be quitting your day jobs, and now is not the time to give up your production. Now is the time to really focus. And because, bruh, this is like a dog-eat-dog system.
Oh, totally. It's always been that way.
You will either sink or you will swim.
Yep.
That's it. Learn to swim, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess that's where I was, when I started this industry myself 18 years ago, when I had my first distributor, I kept saying to him, I'm like, dude, this is like dog-eat-dog world between the smoke shop owners and the distributors and the smoke shop owners. It was like it was this crazy circle of a big fuck you, but then they're all like handshaky and friends in person. It's like...
Right, but dude, 18 years ago, you're not even talking about how different that was for you.
Well, no, I haven't. No, totally. Yeah.
You and I have a completely different list of issues.
Yeah.
Okay? Like Darby I don't know, but I doubt Darby had the same issues that I have today. Whenever Darby was doing this shit, he was doing shit nobody had seen before. Like it was the beginning of something. The desire for the work is there.
Mm-hmm.
Today, if you're part of my generation, bro, there's so many fucking glass art. There's so many glass blowers.
Yeah.
You got to really make your name. You got to really stand out. You got to really work hard because it's a completely different list of problems. The dude who taught me, he would make 2 cases of glass. He would put it in the back of his van. He would drive out, and at the end of the day, he'd be sold out. And that's the way it went.
Yeah.
And he did that for years, right? That's the way he made his money. You can't really do that shit anymore. Cold calling shops is almost pointless. Dude, you did a show with I'm having a brain fart right now, but the dude who runs Glass Roots.
With Nick?
Yeah, dude. And you were talking with Nick about how there's a million fucking shows, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I get called by Big 30 times a fucking year.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible.
They don't have my information for a reason.
Yeah, right. You dig?
Yeah,
so it's like
not even email.
A lot of the shops, what they're doing now, dude, is they just get all their glass in bulk at the shows. That's what's turned around. Oh, man, there's just so much to cover on that.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
totally. But, on that same topic, like another show I've been wanting to spawn off of this podcast was for the smoke shops, because my fear is that the mom and pop shop's going to go away, and either social media is going to take it over, or social media is going to help take it over, along with the the shops that have the money, that have the dispensaries, that have the investment to make a super high-end gallery with the glass-blowing studio in there and be able to offer that kind of stuff. Like the smoke shops that are like the record stores, I don't know if they're going to be able to, like, I'm sure we have one in town, Asylum Records. They've been here for like almost 40 years, I think, something like that. And they're still kicking. They're evolving with the industry. They've understood what they have to do. Like years ago when they first...
Yeah, but you know, bro...
But it's still not... I don't know if they're going to be here in 5 years or 10 years.
Right. You know, I used to own a smoke shop. And I've gotten to witness this scene from both sides of the counter, okay? And whenever I owned a smoke shop, I witnessed things that, as a smoke shop owner, pissed me the fuck off, dude. I was fucking livid about it. So, and these are people, you know, they're friends of mine. I respect these people, no doubt. I've grown to really care about the cats. Some of these cats, bro, I'd spend thousands of dollars getting a display of their work. You know what I'm saying? $5,000-$6,000 getting a list of their work. I couldn't sell any of it. Why? Because the cats would just go to them on Facebook and Instagram and deal direct.
Right.
Bro, it's killing the smoke shop.
Yeah, and for myself personally, though, that's
killing them.
It is, and for me, it's a conflict I have. It's like, okay, do I continue to sell directly to the wholesale to the stores, or do I sell for just a little bit more in wholesale and offer it to my 10,000 plus followers I have on my Instagram? You know, like, but my thing is I don't want to offer it to the public anymore. I want to just offer it to smoke shops. So what I did the last week is I took all my pipes off my Instagram. Every pipe I had on there that was a functional piece, I pulled it off my personal Instagram page. And what I've done is created, and I don't know how I was able to do this, but I got an Instagram page. It's at my functionals. I don't know how that shit was still available, but I now have an Instagram page that is strictly for my functional glass. And the only people I'm going to follow on there are smoke shops. I want to be able to have direct contact with these smoke shops through this new technology. And yourself, dude, you can do fucking Goblin King _ my functionals. Every glass artist should get all their fucking pipes off their personal page. Just share who they are. I haven't done a fucking thing for promoting this page, and in 2 days I've had like 120 something followers on there. And it's because of the way the algorithms work. People see, oh, hey, you have a new Instagram page. Let's go follow you over there.
Right.
You know, so I think the smoke shop helped pave the way, but a lot of them have paved the way, going back to what this conversation started with, by selling the spice. And a lot of these people that sold the spice also didn't really have any kind of inclination for business, and they bought a shit ton of glass, and they probably still have it.
Right.
You know? Right. And they're out there trying to sell it and compete with the glass blowers.
It's one of those fucking dichotomies, bro. You got to take the good with the bad on that shit.
Yeah, it's fucked. Like you got
to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I sold to a lot of shop owners that sold that stuff, and they told me what the numbers that they were bringing in, and I was like, holy fuck, this is crazy.
Well, dude, you know, it's such a touchy thing, because I know I sold certain types of spice. I mean, no doubt, there was no fucking test, there's no fucking experience, there's no information about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hindsight's always 20/20, and regrets will eat you alive. So I try not to have them.
Yep.
But dude, the spice is what really gave our industry the momentum to become something different.
Mm-hmm.
It gave, you know, because everybody was talking about, you know, some really old school respected artists one time looked at a crowd of people and said into a microphone, "You guys want to be pipe makers for the rest of your life?" Like that was some fucking insult. Like that was some degrading choice to make with your life.
Mm-hmm.
He's making pipes today, by the way.
Right.
It's if it wasn't for the spice, dude, the art part, you know what I'm saying? The part that fed the artists and gave them the ability to make art. Because, you know, they could have made whatever, but if there was no money there to sell it, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They're going to make what makes them the money. You know, and if they're wasting their time making one piece for, shit, Jason Lee probably takes 2 fucking weeks, you know, making a perfect fucking piece. If nobody's going to pay him for his time, guess what? He's not making them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people are going to make what the fuck they can sell. So the spice did that for us. It gave Elbow and Coil and all these other cats that make incredible fucking art, it gave them the money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It gave them that doorway. You know, Calm, I'm sure you've seen all these cats who are now doing really, really well. Man, a lot of that money that started that industry, started that art scene, is Spice money, bro.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, but and you know, kind of conspiracy theory wondering, like with the government and shit, if they actually started to decide to, like local governments, to legalize cannabis to get the fucking spice off the shelves, you know, it's kind of thing.
Bro, you know, that's all. I don't believe it. Here's what I know. I know there's more money in cannabis than in gold.
Dude, it's fucking ridiculous,
you're
right?
Growing fucking gold.
Yeah.
It is more valuable per ounce than fucking gold.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's I love where things are going right now. I just, like we said earlier, you know, I wish that there was some kind of unification of something in this industry that established a baseline price for glass in terms of what we're retailing it for, wholesaling it for, blah blah blah. Sure, have your high end shit, but there's, you know, it has to get away from being considered. The production should not be considered to be art. It's fucking a craft. You're making production work. It's paying your bills. Make your art, sell it for $10,000 if you can. But if you can't, then maybe sell it for $5,000.
Well, here's the deal, brother, and I'm all for natural selection. Okay, this is a decision that you have to make as an independent craftsman. You're not working for somebody; you're working for yourself. And if you choose to outprice yourself out of business, that's a tough lesson to learn. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are doing it. You know what I mean? A lot of people. Let me explain. So, like, I made a really shitty decision whenever I first started glass. There's a glass shop, a well-known glass shop, a really respected glass shop. And they hit me up wanting glass. And what I should have said was, no, my glass isn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? I should have said, like, give me some time and I'll fill that order. But instead, I was so anxious to get into that shop. I was so stoked. I was so excited. I was so glitter-eyed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I filled the order when I wasn't ready. So I sold not acceptable glass to a shop that's extremely reputable. You know, it was a bad decision. And I highly recommend to any new glass blowers, anybody who's, you know, trying to figure this shit out in their
oh, I'm losing you, dude.
Their own skin. Huh?
I lost you for a second.
Am I back?
Yep, you're good. Yep.
Cool. All these cats that are trying to find their way in their own skin, you know, they need to remember that. Like,
yeah,
not everything is a first quality. Not everything has to be sold. Like, do your fucking best all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I guess this is a good jumping point for me to start talking about what the crawl before you walk, the idea. Because, like, I have a student who has been my guinea pig for helping me go back to, like, you know, after 18 years, you forget all these little fine-tuned details of techniques that you just don't do anymore, or it's just so natural. You know, it's like changing a tire. You just do it and you're fucking done. So
right.
With him, and I'm not going to, I don't want to bring his personal life into this, but he has been struggling himself. And what he's been struggling with is that he's a very intelligent guy, and in his mind, he wants to make nice shit all the time, has a certain thing he wants to do. And I've been trying to get him for the longest time to say, dude, you need to go back to pulling points and understand your medium first and progress through this process. So I'm thinking, like this couple weeks ago, I'm thinking about my beginnings and how I started doing the pipes whole scene. And I started doing pipes up in Atlanta, Georgia, wrapping rakes, spoons and shit and different bubblers. And I would just do the points. I would just pull points, spin some color, decorate it. And then usually like every fifth point, Daniel, who taught me my basic stuff, he would let me shape it out into a spoon, or at least shape it out, and then he would finish it. And then eventually I progressed to pushing bowls and popping holes. And then I came home with just that knowledge and my glass in a kiln, and I'm like, okay, I got to fucking figure this out. I didn't have a job, you know. Actually, I take it back. I was still working at Subway. Was I working there at that time? I don't think I was. I think I was actually done with it. Anyways, I had to survive. I had a fucking kid that was just born. I mean, literally, that's how I know how long I've been doing glass for, because she was born the same year I started. So I was fortunate enough to come across a couple of local shops that were starting to bring in the Jerome Baker stuff, and they were bringing inside out glass. They were bringing a lot of stuff out of Cali. And it was all like, oh my God, how these guys, I had no concept of how they were making this stuff. And seeing like the old school Jerome Bakers and these badass tubes and these sculptures on them. And I was just like complete mind fuck. But and I wanted to be that good. I knew in my heart and soul I could one day, but it would take a lot of fucking practice. So these shop owners would literally hold my hand. I would bring them in some shitty wrapping rakes. And he's like, okay, dude, your bowl needs to be this size. Make your hole this big. Make your carb in this place. And then bring me all these, take all these with you. I don't want them because they're garbage. Bring me your next batch back and we'll pick through the best ones. And that would make them like 20 spoons, wrapping rakes. I'd come up there. He would go through every fucking one of them. He would actually weigh them out to make sure, just to get me consistent by the amount of material I was using. So I had to like break it all down to a formulas and like figure out what it was I was using to make everything consistent. And then I started getting into inside outs, and it was the same thing. He was like, okay, now you need to make sure your color's all blended in. He had a couple inside out pipes that were actually broken in pieces, and he would show me the inside wall and how smooth it was. Like all these little things, and it allowed me to develop my personal glass, but it also allowed me to develop a relationship with a smoke shop. And there was another one I developed the same kind of relationship with, and I was able to progress through my material, understanding my medium, while I was also progressing my sales to these shops. And the more stuff I was able to learn, the more shops I was able to pick up and grow my business really slowly, not just jumping in making rigs trying to sell everything I fucking make. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I threw so much shit away over the years, or just gave so much stuff away.
But we all know what it's like to be fucking hungry, bro.
Yeah, totally.
You know, that's what it was for me. Like you said, dude, I got a fucking kid over here. I've got to make fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot, you know, in the beginning, the way I did it, dude, was I paid a year rent on my house, and I paid half a year rent at the shop. Said, all right, Turtle, you've got 6 fucking months. Be somebody. You know what I mean? Like, this is either do it or don't. This is your chance. This is the shot. Fucking go. And, you know, there were tons and tons and tons and tons of nights where I was real hungry, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, don't get me wrong. I'm in the same boat. Fuck yeah.
Whenever a sale came my way and I got an opportunity to get glass out and money, I was, you know, there were times, especially in the very, very beginning, I wished I hadn't. You know, I wished I had said, no, don't. But, you know, it's not like I was banging out rigs and bubblers, but my spoons weren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my chillums weren't perfect. And I would send them out. You know what I mean? And you can't.
Yeah.
What I've done, dude, is I've ruined my chances with some of these shops. You know, some of them came back and gave me second chance.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that really affects me, the one that bugs the fuck out of me, will probably never come back to me. And it's because I made that brash decision in desperate hunger to make that fucking money. And that's, you know, and that goes back to what we're talking about, dude. Like, you're about to find some really fucking hungry people because they thought they could make rigs yesterday. And they thought, you know, I'll just make these double wag, you know, slides forever and I'll live like a king. And it doesn't, you know, it's not going to work that way. And that's just the way that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing a lot of really, really talented people who, even with all the talent and all the skill in the world, they're having a hard time. So if you think that you're going to come into the fucking glass scene cold, you know, just cold cocked, and I'm going to make fucking, you know, it's just not going to work out like that right now. This is a very tough time. And there are people that I really respect. A dude in Florida. I'm not going to name his name, but I'm sure you know him. I know him. I love the dude. Super talented cat. Made a post just the other day. He's looking for a fucking job. Broke my fucking heart, dude. Like, I'm sorry. I don't accept your resignation. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
I need you to keep blowing glass because that dude inspires me. You know what I'm saying? So these cats can't quit. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing really amazing artists who can't fucking stop making heady. Make fucking proto. Do what you got to do to get your ass in the fucking shop because you can't quit, dude. And here's the bottom line, bro. This is all I'm really qualified to do. You know what I'm saying? My whole life, it was either doing illegal shit or trying my hardest to be legit with glass. And this is all I'm qualified. So it's sink or swim for me, for sure.
Dude, I say to work all the time.
Like, what the
People
Well,
ask
dude,
us. Yeah, people
you
ask us
got,
that shit.
you
Like
know,
it's summertime and I'm in a hot shop wearing black clothes, melting glass,
well,
and it's
dude,
like
you're
like
on a completely different. It's hard
correct.
for me to relate to you
No,
because
no, I
you're
get it.
fucking.
I'm fucking spoiled. I will admit it to everybody in the whole world. I'm where I'm sitting at right now. My position I'm in. To be able to go to a place where I'm paid to learn and do what I do. It's a blessing. I would every day I go there and I
Yeah,
thank God for what I have.
yeah, I mean, you have a great. Yeah, the opportunity is great and everything, but I mean, dude, you create the figurines that people obsess over. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah,
such
yeah.
a huge, badass fucking deal. Like, it's that's how I love. That's how I fell in love with glass. Was you melting that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your people sitting at Erebus fucking crushing out these figurines. That's how I fell in love with glass. And you got the best part of it, dude. You get to design this shit. So like, it's hard for me to relate to your situation because,
Right.
bro, I'm jealous for real. Like, that's the way to do it. That's the way to fucking do it because you can kick ass doing your Disney thing during the day. And you go home and you do your own personal shit. And you know what? It's probably super healthy, like mentally.
Oh yeah.
You know,
It's huge.
being able to go from both Disney cut and
Oh, you're breaking up again, dude.
switch it over to wise guy radio, talking to a bunch of pipers. You know, like
Yeah, it is, and my heart and soul always be in our industry, always.
oh well, sure, you
You
got to
know.
pay the bills though. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're a fucking piper. You love making bongs and rigs and fucking badass art. But, you know, it doesn't always pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
What's paying your bills is this fucking dope job at Disney World creating fucking memories for humans. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so, God, it's so much better than just having to rely on pipes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the skills to, like, make out a fucking dope Olaf dancing on a beach ball. You dig what I'm saying? And you do. So it's a whole different avenue that you get to rock. And that's a great fucking example for anybody that is coming into this game now, you know? Like, if you can figure out a way to make something desirable outside of the pipe community, you probably, I mean, I don't know, you might have a good time checking that out.
Yeah, dude, that's why I preach about the whole medium thing. Like, I love the fact that you want to come in here and make rigs, and if you can do it, do it. But learn the medium so that you can go sit at the local craft show and sell pendants and little dolphin sculptures on a wave or some shit that some old lady's going to fall in love with.
I'm super blessed in my situation. I'm a new age glass artist, but I was raised by old school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Box fan Will Menzies kind of established to me, like, you're going to take this in steps or I'm not going to teach you. You understand? So I didn't have any choices on that. Like, I was going to learn step by step. You know, first I start with mushroom pushes, then I work with frit back pendants. Then you know what I mean?
Yep.
You start with solid, you start with small, and I worked my way up. Dude, it took me a year before I ever even looked at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm super blessed in the fact that, you know, that respect for the medium, that respect for the scene, was kind of like drilled into me by the people who raised me in this scene. And, you know, and that's because that's the way they were raised. You know, Box Fan, yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better dude to put me on the torch. And through Box Fan, I met Craig Lewis, and that dude wasn't going to let me skate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was super blessed because I have all these people in my life that are determined to see me succeed. And they're not going to let me take the cheap way out. They're not going to let me make a fool out of myself, you know, by just allowing me to continuously make jank glass and never say a fucking word to me. You know, Craig Lewis was very fucking hard on me, and that was because he wanted me to, you know, so fucking cliche to say it, but like, the dude wanted me to fucking succeed. He did not want me to fail. And if you think, you know, not melted in dots or horns that you can pull off your piece or wonky ass fucking whatevers are going to work, you're sorely mistaken. And like, you know, being raised by old school artists means, you know, these cats talk a lot of shit to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be fucking, they're very harsh critics. You know what I'm saying? They do not accept bullshit. And that's something that I feel a lot of the new age artists don't get, because a lot of the new age artists are kind of doing it grassroots style, just alone in their garage, tinkering, trying to figure it out. Right. and then whatever they make is good enough, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not something. That's not something the old school scene accepted.
No,
you know
not at all.
saying?
And I think that's the problem with social media is the false hype that people get, and then it gives them this
yeah,
false ego,
absolutely.
and then it's like the next thing you know, they're making $2,000 on an auction for some garbage.
For some garbage, dude, garbage.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes back to the unregulated scene. Like, first, I mean, it's going to take time, dog, because the first thing that has to happen is the majority of the consumers have to become educated. And I mean educated on the details. You know, glass is a game of details. It's all micro inches. You know what I'm saying? Little itty bitty. It's so crazy to say it, but that's the way it is, dude. It's a fucking game of detail. And a lot of people, especially if you're making it, the details can get lost just at like the sheer ooh-ah factor of the piece that you're making. You know what I mean? Like my first candy corn stuff, I was so proud of, dude. And I look at it today and it's, you know what I mean? It's not, I can pull this candy corn off of this pipe if I want to right now. That's that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You know, I just didn't understand the concept of melting that shit in. And that comes from, you know, it was early in my career. Like, you know, you got to fucking learn. But that shit's key. Yeah. And a lot of the cats nowadays, you can see it all over Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then, you know,
it's just a part of the old school scene.
Yeah,
the
totally.
Cats like you, been there for fucking ever, they have that engraved in them. And it's lost.
Hey, I'm losing you again.
I think that's a lost appreciation, I feel.
Yeah. I think I know what you're saying about it being the whole apprenticeship. Yeah, your signal's getting weird. But yeah, I mean, you know, I have people that were my apprentices that still refer to me as their master, and it's such a weird thing to hear. But in terms of how I taught them, I treated them like my apprentice. I didn't treat them like shit, but they were not moving to the next phase of their glass unless I let them. Just straight up. I'd turn the fucking torch off and say, get the fuck out of here. You know?
Right. Well, you know, apprentices, I wish I had an apprenticeship. An apprenticeship would have been dope. It would have saved me a great deal of money.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You know, Craig was able to teach me without, you know, it was really simple. I didn't want to be berated for making garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's truly that simple. Like, okay, if I let this go, my friends are going to talk mad shit to me. You know what I'm saying? And you're always trying to one-up each other. That's the part of the old school scene. It's just it's a different sort of vibe I've found personally in my own experience. I don't know if everybody listening feels the same way, but that's what I've experienced. And I definitely appreciate that rigidness from my teachers, because today it affected my glass positively.
Right. Yeah, and on that same note, as a teacher, going and taking a class from an artist, you're not going to get that from an artist. I wouldn't, if someone was paying me at like a 2-day class to teach, you know, that class I'm teaching, I might come across as an asshole, and I tell everybody that from day one, I could be an asshole. I'm going to tell you straight up, if you don't do the way I asked you to do this, I'm going to get frustrated and potentially become an asshole. Or I'm just going to be an asshole in general because I'm the teacher and you're the student. Right? That's how my old ways of doing things. Nowadays, if you went into a school or a class and taught a class that way, I don't think people would want to come back and take a class from you just because they're so used to having like the YouTube stuff or the certain situations where the artist isn't really like directing them in a sense like, like that kind of teacher. You know what I mean?
If they think they're going to get the same education from YouTube as they are from the artists themselves, then maybe they shouldn't be melting anyway.
Well, I totally agree, and that's why I'm doing this online course that I'm in beta test with right now, because I want to teach a foundation so that you can watch a YouTube video and know what the fuck's going on, instead of just doing whatever you're seeing on the video or whatever the fuck it is.
The good thing about doing it with somebody, bro, is there's so many nuances. It's like you said earlier. So you'll be in the middle of teaching somebody, and it's just mechanics to you. You just jump right on that shit, and you don't even remember, oh shit, I need to explain that at this moment exactly, when the glass is exactly this temperature, I start to push and let it gather just a little. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's little nuances that you don't get. you can't get without being able to ask somebody. Like, okay, right here, what the fuck is going on right here? Like,
yep.
Not everybody, it's a lot of people. There are people out there that can watch something and then go and do it. They're visual learners, and that's fucking it. Not everybody's like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to say, like, okay, what the fuck exactly, scientifically, physically is going on here now? Because sometimes I'm confused by what the fuck I see. It's that simple.
Well, yeah, and that's the way I'm teaching these classes. Like, I'm doing it like a college course. I have like a lecture on a whiteboard where I'm drawing shapes and explaining what the fuck is going on physically and scientifically with the glass. So you can get a kind of a precognate kind of gimmick going on. And then the videos I have are I'm going back and I'm watching them and I'm really paying attention to what the fuck it is I'm doing. And then I'm writing a dialogue for it, and I'm doing a script, and I'm reading or explaining what exactly is going on that you're seeing. And the perspectives that I have is as if you're standing across from me and watching me work, instead of just being off on the side or something. You know what I mean? Or over my shoulder. I have a couple of the details, like with the manatee, for instance, like the up close of the face details. I have a shot from over my shoulder, but the rest of it, it's as if you're across the table watching me narrate to you what's going on. And then I have a separate MP3 podcast, basically episode, each lesson's going to have. So when you're in the shop, I'm in your fucking ears talking to you through this process of what you're doing. So it's,
that's fucking dope.
Because everybody learns differently, like you're saying. Some are visual, some are hands-on, some are, I'm a both. I need you to tell me and show me, and then I can walk away and go do it. But I gotta have both. So
it's such a different world. It's crazy now.
It is, dude.
And I really hope.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of these cats, that are starting now, take it seriously and they go out and they fucking really buckle down and get their shaping and get a product line that is uniquely theirs, that is proto, that people can see is yours. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everybody succeeds. Genuinely, I really do. I'm watching people drop like flies, and I figured if there's anybody worth talking about it with in public, it'd be Wise Guys. Because, dude, how many people you have listening to you now?
I don't honestly know. I know it's 60.
How many downloads a show do you get?
Over 90 days, they get around 3,000 ish is the average.
That's dope, dude. 3,000 fucking people.
And that's just the downloads. That's not you can listen to a podcast and not download the episode. So I don't really know exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could be like 8,000. Like the show has 165,000 downloads now, I think is what it's at. Something like that.
Proud of you, homie.
Yeah, thanks, dude. It's been a lot of work, but it's, I can't believe I can believe because I know me as myself, but going through the divorce and moving and not moving and then moving, and I mean, it's just this last 6 months has been fucking crazy. And I've actually been on point with my podcast more than I've been the last 3 years. It's been pretty cool.
Well, now you have a chance to get your roots. You have a chance to get your footing and really like explore that without being distracted too much.
Well, I've got like 21 hours back to my life. I no more 90-minute commute to work one way. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
I don't know. Maybe get some sleep, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Maybe get some. How's your kids?
Kids in college. One's just turned 10 in 5th grade. It's crazy. They're awesome. Man.
You're so old, dude.
Yeah, I'll be 41 this year. It's crazy. But I feel like I'm 20, so it's all good. I had a lady at work the other day.
I mean,
she was,
look, bro.
Well,
I can't,
you know how it is.
Yeah, man, of course. I was just teasing anyway.
I am getting old, though. I can't believe I'll be 41 this year.
Dude.
It's whatever.
I'll be 32 coming up, and it's like, fuck me, bro. 32.
Yeah, but man, if I could be where I was at 32, where I am now, I have no regrets. But yeah, to gain an extra 10 years, it'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, wouldn't that be right? Right. Yeah, it'd be dope. I'm sure we all would take an extra 10.
Yeah.
Take us back 10. I don't know that I'd want to be 22 though, bro. 22 is a rough time for me.
Dude, 20's in general. Fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm still making bad decisions. I'm 41. But you know, it's funny. Like with where I work, it's like I work and live in a fantasy land, and it's like I don't go on Facebook anymore, except for to do the business shit. I just try to ignore all the bullshit and negativity that's going on out there in the world.
God damn, dude. I think Facebook really makes it so much worse, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, like racism has never been around, like sexism has never been around, like people are acting like this is the first time anybody's experienced anything negative, and it's like, dude, nobody's showing any of the really badass things humans are doing anymore. It's so rare that I see a post where I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I get excited when I see people posting like legalizing hemp.
Good for you mentally. Yeah. Well, bro, I'm always stoked to see growth in that movement.
Yeah.
You know
but it's
what I mean?
rare to see it anymore.
I see a post,
like
it's just changing.
Yeah. I think everybody's pissed off or something.
Well,
what the fuck?
Dude, they're pissed off about things that they can't control. You know.
Yeah.
That's why I don't even chime in on a lot of this shit. Like, because one, there ain't nothing that we're gonna do to change it unless you're talking about mad revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point in getting yourself all worked up and fucking huffy and explaining your point of view because, you know, plenty of people share your point of view. We don't need to fucking hear it 11 times. But that's what Facebook does, bro. Mm-hmm. Facebook, like, repeats it until, like, some people are convinced that's the way life is. Life is a world of Donald Trump, and it's really fucking not.
It's not at all.
You know what I mean? No, that's why I try my hardest just to not. You know, I used to be much more active, and it's not that I don't get on, and it's not that I don't read people's shit. I just no longer comment on anything negative or that I disagree. You know, it's okay. I disagree. Why do I have to tell everybody why I disagree?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm right, dude. Me, you're wrong, and I'm right, and it's just fucking lame.
Well, dude, I always say, like, I don't believe any of it, and then I believe it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that might be the safest way to go through. You know what I mean? Just keep everything at arm's reach because, God damn, it's fucking madness out there, bro.
Yeah, hey, man.
That's why I like, dude, I get lost in my studio. I stare at my fucking torch, and that's it. You know, that's pretty much all I do with my life. I raise my daughter, and I blow glass, and that's fucking it. And I'm so much happier.
You know, but I think thanks to Facebook, dude, we all now know that the Earth is flat.
Oh, right. God, now here's what's crazy, bro. I've never actually met one of these flat earthers. I'm convinced that it's bullshit. Like
I have. I know. I had a conversation about it with somebody.
That he really thought the Earth was flat?
Yeah, he wasn't that he thought it, but he was believing the shit that there because the scientific backings and blah 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 blah. I'm like, dude. Look at the fucking horizon. Dude. It's not flat. It's round. There's a curve to it for a fucking reason, you jackass. And if I'm offending anybody because you think the Earth is flat, you can stop listening to my show because I don't give a fuck.
Bro, if you think the Earth is flat, fuck you.
Yeah, like,
I'm just like, fuck you. There's nothing anybody can say to help you. No. You know what I mean? There's just nothing. Like if you're willing to believe that the Earth is flat, like, dude, what couldn't I convince you of?
Yeah.
You know, is there a limit to what you'll believe? Like, oh, well, a scientist told me that honey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just laugh at it. It's fuck, man. Yeah, dude, half this country is
hard to laugh at. Sometimes I gotta turn that shit off. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I can't even go on Facebook. Unless I get the alert says, oh, it's someone's birthday. Cool. Happy birthday just for my messages. That's it. You know, I want to look at it.
You know, dude, I get to see some really beautiful art. And I get to see some amazing grass being grown. I get to look at flowers. Like
I go on Instagram for that shit.
Hardest. Yeah, Instagram's dope too. And believe it or not, like Instagram's starting to become more active for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I'm at, dude. Always.
Yeah, Instagram for my business wise is becoming more active. And if it wasn't for the connects that I have through Facebook for my business, I might not have Facebook. I really enjoy seeing, you know, friends from all over the globe and what they're doing and all that shit, because that can be pretty cool. You know, when you see your friends go and blow glass in Amsterdam or take a trip to Costa Rica or what the fuck ever, you know. I enjoy that. And I really enjoy sharing my growth and my experience with you guys on Facebook and Instagram. You know, I've done that. You guys didn't have it. You guys had like glasspipes.org
Yeah.
later in the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten the opportunity to really share everything that I'm doing and growing with my glass. You know, I don't really talk about my personal life, but I get to like share my growth and my successes and my failures. And a lot of the people that I've worked with in the past, friends that I've made in this scene, I get to connect with them and they get to give me words of advice or encouragement or, you know, so those are the reasons I keep Facebook. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I get to keep in touch with fucking Boyle Farm and I get to keep in touch with Northern Waters and see how they're doing. You know, I get to fucking see it. And I appreciate that shit. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be on Facebook. But those little glimpses into people that I care about, that I would never get without Facebook, as shitty as that is, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. I can't be in Portland and Austin and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So it's Facebook gives me that, and it gives me an opportunity to see what dude, fuck, you know how many nights I've gone to bed or I've taken a break on the torch and looked at your fireworks show? You know what I mean? That shit,
It's awesome.
Dude, last night you posted up that glowing Mickey head, and my fucking, my heart started to smile, bro.
Yeah.
So like that shit. Every once in a while, bro, and I say that it's usually like at least once a day, you get a post where you're like, fuck yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be able to really have the self-control to be like, fuck this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
I think it's also just knowing when to shut the fuck up. Like this
Well,
podcast has taught me that too, you know.
That is a hard thing to do, bro.
It is. I know.
That is whenever you're so dead set that you're right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody tries to bad talk, I mean, we'll just use cannabis, for example. If somebody tried to tell me that cannabis was a harmful, addictive drug, I'm going to argue. It's just something I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know I should shut the fuck up because arguing with an idiot only makes you dumb. So just leave it be. But I can't. I'm like, fuck you. That's how I feel. And fuck you.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean. I have a couple hot topics like that, including the WWE.
It's hard, bro.
When people are like, that shit's fake. I'm like, dude, let me tell you about this real quick.
You tell fucking Mick Foley it's fake while he's missing all his fucking teeth.
Yeah, exactly. And walking like a crazy limp man.
Dude, he's fucked up permanently. Now, I get it. This isn't like Olympic wrestling, but you tell that dude it's fake to his face. And yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, yeah, dude, we could probably go all over the goddamn place tonight. Talking.
Well, that's half the fun about conversations, bro.
I know.
You can go everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I think the important thing I just wanted to stress to people is that what we're experiencing now is the second wave. It is a culling. If you cannot sit down and produce either heady art or production daily quality, you're going to sink. You've got to be able to establish your business, your name, your art quickly. Now is the time, if you've got those skills to really fucking hunker down and get that shit done. If you're just now getting in this and then this is like, oh, I think I can do this, well, then I would highly suggest treating it as a hobby until it becomes, until you're creating things that are widely desired. That's what I would suggest. You're going to have a very hard time hitting the shops. It's just the fucking way it is. Like any really talented people are having a hard time.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. I want everybody out there that melts glass to continue to melt glass, and I want you to succeed, and I want you guys to be as happy as I am. You know what I mean? And I think the best way that I can stress that is reminding you why you're doing this, reminding you that, dude, this is so much better than a 9-to-5 desk. This is so much better than whatever the fuck else. You know what I mean? This is a great life. if you can figure out your way to survive. And that's key here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of this conversation, is to remind people that this is the hard part. This is the time when it's going to struggle, and you've got to be able to make your proto. Go back to proto. Fucking headpiece, your fucking super dope line work, crazy triple seal, Jesus, blah, 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 isn't fucking selling. I guarantee you your wrap and rake will. I guarantee you your chillums will. They will sell. You hit enough stores and you will sell out. Don't quit. Don't give up.
And I'm glad you brought that up too.
Up.
Yeah, I kind of wonder with the whole flowers scene, because like for me personally, I prefer my flowers, and I'm getting asked by a lot of shops for spoons because they can't find them.
Oh, because everybody wants to be a fucking headpiece.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the next Elbow, and it's like, dude, not everybody can be Elbow. This scene needs people. You know what I'm saying? The majority of people puffing are not looking for a $45,000 Triceratops.
Yep.
They're looking for a spoon that they can smoke when they're recliner, or a Sherlock that they can stick in the living room while they're watching their football game, or they're looking for just a fucking trasher to take to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
That is selling. That is moving. That is if you go in there with nothing but headpieces, don't be discouraged when you don't sell them all. Especially if you don't expand your market, expand your reach. You've got to get into different shops than just your local area, because, buddy, they're not going to be able to support you every time. You've got to expand. You've got to diversify. And if it's such a difficult task. Now, I have found one group of people that are immune, as it would seem, to this culling, to this. You've got to be able to make your proto.
Oh, I lost you, dude.
Wag-art. Am I still here?
Yep, there you are. I got you.
Yeah. The dudes that are immune to this fucking rule and seem to be making it without that are the pendant makers.
Yeah.
That specifically make pendants. And they pick the fucking idea. Either it's Phillas or it's Raticellos or it's whatever. They've picked something. They've gotten really good at it, and their pendants are desired. And they're making great money at it. And they seem to be the only people that I can tell are immune to it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's why when I first started the show, I was preaching like, start your day off by making a pendant, and then if you do that for 300 days out of the year and you sell them for $20, well, got an extra like $6,000 coming in. Like, look at Salt. Every day he's got a pendant auction going on. He's been doing it for years now. He's killing it.
Yep.
Killing it. It's crazy. I'm jealous.
Craig Lewis does the exact same thing, dude.
Yeah.
Every time that he goes into the shop, he makes a little tiki pendant and auctions it off. If it makes $20, okay. If it makes $60, all right. If it makes $120, great. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no matter what, there's money coming in every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day he's in the studio, he is making a pendant to auction, and it's going to be sold. And that's the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be able to get in there and make that fucking money. It is not the time for people to get into the scene and be like, okay, I'm gonna make rigs today. You know what I mean? No, dude, you've really got to fucking know how to make a rig if you plan on selling rigs, because there's 6,000 dudes out there right now making fucking rigs, and there's only so many shops. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why these heady artists have all these different designs. Look at Eugene, right? He's got a bunch of different designs. Right now it's the Redisculator or whatever he's calling it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to make as many of those as there are shops to buy them. But at some point, there's not going to be any shops to buy them. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many shops that have the money, that have the clientele, that can support that piece. So he's going to have to move on to the next step, right? And that's going to be the next generation of whatever he's making. But the point is, even Eugene can't sit there and make Redisculators till he dies.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be able to.
I think that's why him and those type of names are successful, because they stop that piece before it gets to that point. They create the scarcity of their items. They may make 100 of them, and that's it. They're not numbered and shit.
Right.
Maybe times they are. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're not idiots, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's a reason? There's no reason calling them super successful.
Yeah, it's like some of these cats are driving
aside
Teslas.
From the fact the dude's super talented, he's a fucking smart guy.
Yep.
Super smart. You know, super. You know, Buck is one of my favorites in the fucking scene. You're talking about a very smart man who knew how to develop his craft, market himself to not just the pipe scene, but I mean, he's a major art dealer now, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, but what's funny with him, you never hear about him.
Huh?
You never hear about him. He's not one of the rock stars out there, even though he is in the eyes of other people.
Oh, bro, he's a rock star in my book.
Oh no, in my book too. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of like, I really don't ever hear his name brought up a lot. You're the first person I've heard brought up his name in a while.
In all fairness, bro, you don't hear from a lot of these cats anymore.
Yeah,
like,
this is true.
I don't hear a lot about Ben Burton anymore. Like, I just don't.
Exactly.
I don't really see his work a lot
Perfect.
anymore.
That's another
you know
great.
What I mean? Now,
Yep.
I don't know if that's like the algorithm of Facebook, because I know the dude's still melting.
Yeah.
I know the dude's still making dope glass.
Yeah.
I just don't see it anymore.
I've had to go to their pages.
Occasionally, yeah. But even at their fucking like appreciation pages, I just don't see their new shit, their new hype shit.
Yep.
Like Joey P. I know that motherfucker's crushing it out there. If the only time I see these big name artists anymore is either when they're doing a class. I mean, really, that's it. When they're doing their classes, and then if they do a major collaboration, I'll see from them. But for the most part, dude, I really don't. It's not like it's 2012 anymore.
Right.
You know, it's just not. And maybe one day it'll get back there. I think once weed's legalized and the money is more fluid, it'll change again. It'll go back to being a surplus of opportunity. But right now, winter is coming, you guys. So fucking get ready.
Yeah, put your acorns away.
Dude, that's not a joke. It's not a fucking joke.
Fuck no.
You know, you preach about that a lot, like being business savvy and really paying attention to the business aspect. And dude, I'm gonna be real with you. I just don't. I don't save my scraps. My mom is a CPA, so she helps me with my taxes. But that's literally the extent of my business goes. Like, I sit down, I make shit, I create it, and it goes out. I don't keep much booking. I need to be more adamant about that. It is something that I really need to work on, and I highly suggest you don't follow my suit and you do take care of your books and pay attention to that shit, because, bro, it's all key. All that shit fits in together. All of it's all little itty bits. It's a step of the ladder. You know what I mean? And if you're missing one step, you're not going to make it up the fucking ladder. It's just the way that goes.
Yeah.
You know, and that analogy can be used for so many different aspects of our fucking scene.
Yeah. Well said, dude. Well said. Well, I hate to wrap this up on you. My ass is exhausted.
Well, dude, I love chatting with you guys. I love
this is great
reaching
stuff.
out, being a part of the Wise Guys, and I got nothing but love for you, and I hope everything works out really well.
Yeah, likewise.
I'll be watching your shit on Instagram, and everybody else, come on out and say hey, and I'll be watching you guys too.
Fuck yeah, and you can find our favorite pirate over here on Instagram. It's is it triple X or double X?
It's XX Goblin King XX on Instagram.
Yeah, check them out. Making snore flats and thingamabobs and.
That's it, bro. Snore flats are better. Remember that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right, bro. Let's wrap it up, and I hope we do it again. I really do.
Yeah, likewise, I agree. Yeah, we should do this once a month. What's the hot topic of the month?
We'll just pull points.
Yeah, exactly. Good shit, dude. Well, it was good talking to you, and I'll be in touch very soon.
Yeah, dude. Miss you, brother, and everybody
Likewise.
else out there. Stay melty.
Hell yeah, brother. Keep yourself safe.
Peace.
See ya. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Glassroots Art Show. Now entering its 9th year, Glassroots is designed for artists and distributors who wish to do wholesale business with shops and galleries. Located at the Monona Terrace Convention Center on beautiful Lake Monona in downtown Madison, Wisconsin, the art show features at least 25 glassworkers demonstrating and creating pieces for public viewing, live and silent auctions, raffles, and approximately 40 booths consisting of raw material supplies, functional and non-functional art, and glass charitable organizations. This year, in 2017, Glassroots will be held October 9th through the 11th, and for any more information, just go to glassrootsartshow.com. That's glassrootsartshow.com. This episode is also brought to you by The Flow magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community. This has been accomplished by developing relationships with the finest artists and sharing their techniques with you through in-depth, step-by-step tutorials. In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with the continuation of our Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com.